Hi everyone, how are you? I get this question a lot. What to do if I have too many business ideas? And I get this question on my apps. I mean, maybe hundreds of times now. I got this question. Um, so let me answer. So where do I start? I mean, you got too many business ideas. You know, you will need to end up with one idea. Cannot do more than one idea. If you do more than one idea, you're just gonna disfocus your efforts, and you're gonna give, like, instead of giving something 100%, you're gonna be able to only give 50 and 50. I mean, even if you give 100%, you know what the business statistics are? Most businesses like fail miserably, and that's people giving their 100%. Often they have more resources than you. They have money. They have employees. They still fail. So you really need to focus so hard on one idea that there's no argument that you just need to have one idea. And there's very few entrepreneurs historically who have successfully run two companies at the same time. But those are world-class people, like Elon Musk or something like that. But if you are a first-time entrepreneur, one idea, okay? I know it seems like two ideas is better than one, but one idea is better than quality, is better than quantity here, and it's been proven in the business world time and time again. So, one idea. How do you narrow down from multiple business ideas to one idea? Okay, this is where it gets a little bit, let's talk through it. So, it's really important that you pursue something that you're passionate about. Chances are you're passionate about both of those ideas because you like them. So that's not maybe the greatest. The next thing is, are you the right person to execute this idea? One idea might be 10 times harder to actually execute. Like if you want to start a restaurant versus, you want to do something else. I mean, restaurant is like immensely difficult to start. So maybe the other idea is easier, because if it's easier, your risk is lower probably. And let's talk about risk. I mean, does your idea, require a lot of capital? Where are you going to get this capital? If one idea is difficult and requires a lot of capital, and the other one is, maybe less difficult and requires less capital or none, I mean, those are really strong criteria. But I also want to talk about what are you passionate about. Sorry, not what you're passionate about, but what is your background in? Because you're going to have to be like the best guy in your business space. You're going to have to have the best company, and you're going to have to be the best CEO within your competitors, from out of all of them. And what can you bring from your own personal or professional background to give that extra 10% to your business? Are you good at getting press? Are you good at networking? Are you good at raising money? Are you really strong in product, right? So if you are starting a restaurant, do you have 10 years experience running a restaurant or something like that? So you have to have, think about what you can bring to a business, what strength you can use, and that's going to go a long way. Then there's also the kind of concept of, a concept that I'm kind of worked out. I haven't heard other people discuss it, but there's innovative business ideas versus commoditized business ideas. And innovative business ideas, they have extra risk because you're innovating. You don't know if that product is really going to work out or people are going to want it, and so that gives you extra risk. Now, on the other hand, commoditized business ideas like lawn care company or whatever, they tend to, you can research everything about them because they've been done so often, many times before, that you can just research. If you get a good mentor or something like that, you can research exactly the steps you need and you can get the guidance. Whereas if you're doing something innovative, the best you can do is experiment and sort of like, even people who have done it before, if you're experimenting, they can help you experiment, but good mentors, they can help you experiment more intelligently, but still it's like experimentation has a very high rate of failure. So that's another thing to think about. Is your idea commoditized? Can you pull it off? Can you get the knowledge of how to run it and build it? Or do you need to experiment, and you really want to be experimenting and having that kind of risk? And then you want to think about which idea targets a more interesting market. And by interesting, it's a fluffy term, but like you can put market size into that term. Then there's also competitiveness of that market. Is the market very saturated? Is the market on the rise, on the decline? Like many people want to open a boutique, like fashion boutique locally, but that market is having trouble because local stores like fashion stores, they're getting destroyed by Amazon, by the online world, and so that's kind of a market that's really dying. I mean, it's not dying, but it's hurting, and you really don't know how many people you even lose to the online retailers, because you don't know how many people went online. I mean, there's just no way to determine, and the trend is basically online, right? So you want to be in a market that's growing, not being stagnant or not going down. So there's various components that have to do with the actual market in which you are in. And I actually have some videos on how to identify your target market, how to calculate your target market, things like that. And I'll have links to it maybe in the show note, in the description of the video. Okay, that's kind of it. So you want to take those criteria, and you really want to. I guess another thing is that, do you have connections in which space, in which business idea space, do you have connections in? That will also go to help you to some degree. So you kind of want to take all those factors and really, almost itemize them. Maybe, if it's easier to put it on paper, you kind of want to compare them against each other and see, which has more points at the end, and it's not an easy decision. It's not something like at the end of the day, oh, this has more points, but those criteria are the ones that you should use to decide what business you want. The other thing is, don't, even if you pick one or whatever, the funny thing is that business ideas, they're so strange because usually they're not that good at first. And it's going to be your job to work on them, refine them, improve them, and not just the business idea, but the business itself. You're always going to be doing that throughout the duration of your entire business. So actually, it really isn't, when you're deciding, it's important, it feels important, but it actually isn't even that important, because you start with a business idea, but where you end up might be something very different for any of the business ideas you choose, because you'll have to kind of like adjust, and you will just constantly be refining the business idea. So that's the funny thing, is that sometimes it doesn't matter what you pick, because you're not even going to end up later with what you started with. So in a way, if you made the wrong choice, you think, don't worry. What is going to be unbelievably important? Hard work, getting the support you need, co-founders, mentors, maybe investors, and yeah, those two. Focus. Hard work, get support, get advice. Things like that, they're going to go a very long way. And like one piece of advice, sometimes can save you like months and months of some incorrect strategy. I don't even want to get into it. But that's it. That's how you those are the criteria to figure out which business idea you want to pursue. If you want to get existential, I mean, at the end of the day, it might not even matter. And you'll see, But anyway, I hope that was insightful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And of course, please check out my mobile apps. They cover business ideas, business planning, marketing, and fundraising. And this video is kind of like the business ideas. And the apps, they're really helpful because there are like hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs on them, and a lot of the content on them comes right from the entrepreneurs who have asked questions or have issues. So probably you're having some similar issues or questions that other entrepreneurs before you had. So they're very helpful apps. They're available on iOS and Android, Kindle, blah, blah, blah. Or you can just visit problemio.com, and I'll have the notes, there's the link in the description of the video. And so thank you for watching, and bye.